to the 9/11 War Room, a weekly roundtable discussion that takes place every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Tune in at 911warroom.com.
Welcome to the 9/11 War Room. My name is Gene.
My name is Sandra, and today is Sunday, August the 2nd. We've got episode 246.
246. In the news, I only found one thing. Well, actually, we're not getting to the news yet. We're going to start off with crime scene to courtroom.
Well, do you want to wait till Richard's on?
He said he might be able to make it, might not be able to make it. Crime scene to courtroom, episode 6, the last of this year's episodes. We'll focus on episode 6. IMDb says the Building 7 arc continues with the examination of investigative omissions, destruction of physical evidence, and reported foreknowledge that WTC 7 would collapse. There's Richard joining in. And yes, it's going to be starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Again, there's the poster image. And let's just play the trailer.
Twist your rubber arm.
I twist my arm. I got to be cognizant because we got to stop at 7 so that we can eat dinner and then be ready for that at 8 because we're helping behind the scenes with simulating the questions and all that. Mm-hmm. So here we go. Let me play.
Anyone present around Building 7 near the time of its collapse would be a reasonable person for the grand jury to subpoena.
The main investigators of the FEMA report were also the investigators of the 1995 Oklahoma bombing event. As well, they were recipients of major Department of Defense contracts.
This was an agency of the Bush-Cheney administration. Scientists working for NIST lost their scientific independence and became little more than hired guns.
We did not find any evidence that explosives were used in the collapse of Building 7.
NFPA 921 Guide for Fire and Explosion Investigations dictates in a fire investigation that certain residues be tested for. Shouldn't you have tested those residues that Stephen Jones has found?
No.
Mike, you're not here. Is everybody hearing this?
I am.
Okay, yeah. Mike, it's just you.
It's me?
Yeah, it's you. We're going to keep playing.
They are not even feasible. Why didn't the FBI or NIST examine the wreckage for explosives?
Testimony from demolition experts that they believe it's a controlled demolition. Did you interview any of these people?
The collection of things you said do not add up to a theory.
Why was crucial evidence of melted structural steel suppressed and not even considered, or worse yet, allowed to be carted off and destroyed?
The evidence from the buildings was being destroyed as we were talking about it.
The first rule is you do not touch anything until the investigator clears it.
It's only unfortunate. It's borderline criminal.
You can't do science when you are deprived of the evidence and when your hypothesis is the least valid instead of the most likely. This is not science. It's trying to prove preconceived ideas.
That evidence got destroyed. There was a reason. And what could that reason be other than a desire to hide what that evidence would show?
If Building 7 was truly brought down by fire, it would have been a totally unexpected event.
They told us Building 7 was going to come down or being brought down.
We stood and waited for World Trade Center 7 to come down.
He said in his current state you have about 5 hours.
We were walking back to the building, about to blow up.
At the last few seconds, he took his hand off and you heard 3, 2, 1.
Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy.
The construction worker, he emerged from the dust cloud, paused and said, "That'll be coming down around 5 o'clock.
But the battalion chief started yelling at us, right, ordering us to get out of this building, get out of this building. They're going to pull the building. over half of the firefighters expressed certainty that they had been told that Building 7 was definitely coming down.
Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it.
The grand jury may well want to ask Mr. Silverstein some questions to explain this to him.
When it's all finished, the outside walls are piled one on top of the other right in the building. Just like a house of cards.
It would have taken tons, literally tons of explosives to do the kind of damage you needed to weaken the structure enough to fall in the manner we saw it fall.
Until now, that we have left unmolested those who set fire to the house. And prosecuted those who sounded the alarm.
Tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Brilliant!
Yes, brilliant. All right, look forward to that. And let's see, what else? Again, after this plays, anybody that gets a chance, if you would scoot on over to IMDb after this plays and then give your recommendation, user reviews, and write a little review for them to help out. Again, IMDb, if you type in 9/11 crime scene, I think I've seen Richard do this and it pops right up. So check that out. Richard, anything to add to that? Oh, you're muted.
Still muted.
Still muted.
You're muted, honey.
Well, no
Muted,
wonder.
honey.
Thanks, guys, for going to IMDb. That will be really, really helpful, actually, because there's like a few debunkers can bring us down because we have so few of us who even know about IMDb and are giving positive reviews. Plus, you can go to the individual episodes, all 6 of them, and give a review for each individual episode. That'd be awesome. Take a few minutes. It would really help us out.
Right on.
And how it'll help us out is when we're submitting this series to streaming services, they're going to look at IMDb. And if we have more reviews, then they're going to be more likely to accept it at Apple TV, Amazon Prime Video, Hulu, and other streaming networks where we will get this out to millions. So a little could go a long way. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Ellie, for adding
and
that.
I really, really want to stress this because, as activists, I mean, there's only so much that certain people can do, because they don't have a network in their own cities or they're not computer savvy or whatever the reasons are. This is something that's really easy to do. It'll take 10 minutes max if you write a review, and it'll really have an impact, visibility, credibility, all of that stuff. There is no reason not to. I can't drive that home enough. And you have nothing to lose.
Aye. I'm giving up on trying to get the news done in 20 minutes. So let's go to Susie had a hand. Do you have a comment about this, Susie? You're muted.
Susie, you're muted.
In the meantime, I just want to tell Richard, that music is really great.
Yeah.
I don't know, like that this is just such a perfect fit.
Thanks. We've gotten 3 comments, Sandra, that the music was
Hello.
too loud, though. I'm wondering if, raise your hand, maybe, or go like this if it's too loud. I want to see. There's one, oh, Jane thought it was too loud. Everybody else, Alfred thought it was too loud. Barbara thought it was too loud. What?
Yeah, I would agree as well. Maybe like 38% too loud. For some of the speakers, it's a little bit hard to hear.
30%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Susie, you're there. Go ahead.
Yes, I don't know how this happened, but I used to be on the IMDb as a script writer for ESO, and that's been completely wiped out. So do I just go in and start a new account?
Yeah, if you don't have an old account, yes, just go and create an account like I've done, and yep.
Or maybe contact them and see if,
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently they do some data swiping or whatever, and I know my dad's no longer on there either on the main page for that documentary anyway. So my account no longer exists.
All
So I
right.
just have to go in there and start again, I guess.
Aye.
Thanks.
Thanks, Susie. Ross?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question about the IMBD platform. It seemed to me like it wasn't that simple, that you were going to have to register and give your email address and all those things. And one of those kind of platforms, I tend to get a lot of spam out of those. Is it one of those where
Well,
you really?
For what it's worth, if you have an Amazon account, and who doesn't these days, it defaults to your Amazon login, because since Amazon took over IMDb, so you don't even really have to create a new account. Just log in and use those credentials.
But yes, they will send you emails from IMDb about every movie that's made if you don't uncheck it.
Okay, so you have to uncheck it, and then you go log in from Amazon.
You can, yep.
Now, so when you log into Amazon, it gives you an option about IMDb somewhere?
No, not real. Just go to IMDb, and when it says login, just log in with your Amazon credentials.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Magnus? Thanks, Ross.
Oh, yeah.
You can unsubscribe altogether if you don't want any of their emails once you get the first one.
Go ahead, Magnus.
Okay. I tried several accounts and I were able to like it and gave it 10 on every account, but I can only see Sandra and the other guy's review yet. I can't see the other accounts or my own review under Sandra's. So that's very strange, Gene.
Yeah, but you did your part, so thank you for that.
Thank you, Magnus.
All right.
Looking forward to seeing you in New York, my friend.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So
We get to
again,
meet Magnus in the flesh, you guys. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. Magnus, I got to send you your information on what happens to you when you land, where you're going to be going. If you're coming here, which I know you are, so to stay. So I'll send you that via email.
Yeah,
instructions.
thank you,
You'll be
your WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. Oh, good.
Yeah,
All right,
WhatsApp.
I'm on. Good.
Right.
Now we just need Jerry there too.
Good. All right. We're waiting
all
for
right,
you.
so I'll say it one last time: 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Check it out. It's being streamed on Richard's YouTube account. Well, maybe not. 3 different Facebook accounts. All 3 are Richard's accounts on Facebook.
X
and X account. So
and StreamYard. Are you guys going to do Q&A after, Richard?
Yeah. That was the whole point.
Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry.
You guys can ask questions, make comments.
I brain farted that one. Sorry.
Gene and Sandra are going to help us do Q&A too.
Yep, they did last time too. It was huge.
The very reason we're there. Dumb
So
question.
helpful.
All right.
So come and you can see Gene and Sandra because I'm going to spotlight them.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Gail.
You're welcome. Thank you guys.
Mm-hmm. All right, next news item. Where are we at? I'm not sure if I recovered this last week, but Tucker Carlson interviewed Jim Erdman, a CIA whistleblower. They had a fantastic, about 7-minute segment where they talked about Building 7 and 9/11. I'm just going to play a little bit of it because it was so good. Here we go.
On, I think some of the Democrats were on there, Fetterman, a few others. Wouldn't know. They didn't show up to the hearing.
I went back too far. Where'd it go?
Hey, why is...
Oh, no. Now I'm going to get an
There are
ad.
machines on the market right now that pull drinking water directly out of thin air. No plumbing, no well, no connection to any water source at all. Just air going in and clean water coming out.
It would be hard for Trump just to say, time's up. I want him now.
Is that it?
There is a sea of lawyers who... there's something off with Building 7 and...
Something off? Yeah, like how did it fall down? Why was it announced on television before it fell down?
Yeah, those are real questions that need real answers.
So because the CIA, there was a CIA office in that building, they admitted it. I didn't misremember that.
No, you didn't.
Did anyone ever talk about this?
Well, you mean
at CIA?
At CIA,
what
over
happened
the course of my career, what happened?
Like what happened to our office in Building 7?
The
building that no plane hit, but somehow it fell down.
So when I say I used to be a normal CIA officer, for most of my career, no one I knew talked about that.
Right.
And it wasn't until COVID that I started running into people, whatever this means, it wasn't until COVID that I started running into people that started asking those questions. And I was listening to them going, first I had
CIA employees?
Yeah, CIA employees. I had a visceral reaction when I first heard that. I was like, what are you talking about? I did exactly that. What are you talking about? They can't, that didn't happen. And as time has gone on,
I had the same reaction, by the way. Yeah.
I'm a slow learner. I'm a slow learner. And I'm a slow learner, but there's a lot of questions that need.
So what were other CIA employees who had thought about this before you did or I did? What was their theory about how that building came down?
Put me on the spot here, but
doesn't mean it's true, and you're not endorsing it.
I'm not endorsing.
I'm interested to know what actual CIA employees think about the destruction of the CIA office in Building 7.
A lot of people had questions about, the folks that were dancing on top of the building and celebrating.
Israelis, the Mossad officers, yeah.
So a lot of people had questions about that. A lot of people had questions about why was it an insurance policy, I believe? You did a whole segment. That's right. You did a whole segment on this.
Yeah, we did a documentary.
There's an insurance policy that was taken out right beforehand, which is pretty fortuitous, pretty prescient. They've brought up a whole bunch of things.
Just a little bit longer waiting for the big.
From my perspective, these are good questions that deserve answers.
So was the feeling that building was by someone brought down?
Yeah. I mean, some have said that explicitly that I've spoken to. Yeah. They said explicitly, yes, it sure looks like that thing was a controlled explosion and, fell in on itself. And these are active CIA officers.
I mean, it's pretty obvious. If you take, if you filter out the propaganda, the screaming in your ears from Jake Tapper, like, shut up, conspiracy nut, and just ask, like, well, how did that happen? You can't get an answer because obviously it was brought down with explosives.
It sure.
Obviously, it was brought down by explosives. There it is. 21 years it took them.
Yeah, and he's been dancing. I mean, the first time he ever expressed a doubt was like 3 or 4 years ago, right after he got fired from Fox, and with Clayton Morris. And ever since then, he's been dancing around the question: whatever happened to Building 7? I don't know. If only I could speak to people who understood the mechanics of it. Like there's nobody out there, but it's the first time that he actually says that.
And he went a little bit further in the next sentence, and allow me to go to that next sentence right here.
Some kind, right. So, but who did that and why? And by the way, that building collapsed in exactly the same way that the first two towers collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
So it does raise like a bigger question. If that was fake, well, what else is fake, if anything? I mean, we don't know, but.
So they weren't brought down exactly the same, but for Tucker, that's huge. So pretty good. Just fantastic. Love it. So it was Jim Erdman with Tucker Carlson. I'll put that link in the show notes. And fantastic. I actually put this stitch together just because this is where he came out with Clayton Morris on Redacted, and I stitched this together along with Stephen Jones being vindicated from 2005. It's only 23 seconds. Here we go.
What actually happened with Building 7? Like, that is weird, right?
Obviously, it was brought down with explosives.
Do you have any evidence that there were bombs in the building?
Sure. Let's start with the collapse of Building 7. Can you roll the video clip that I sent to you?
Nice.
That'd be great if he would play that.
It would be great
We'll
if
play
he
that during
apologized to
it
Stephen
for his
Jones.
introduction at TTT. We'll play that clip.
Yeah.
Nice.
If he can't make the event, because apparently there is a question of availability and scheduling, but if he could just issue a 10-second apology to Stephen Jones, that would be fantastic.
Oh yeah.
And unfortunately, he can't apologize to David Ray Griffin.
Whom he treated just as shabbily.
Yep. Was blasphemous. Anyways. Also going on in the news. So we got a bunch of events this year coming up. First of all, it would be September 5th. Whoop, hang on. Hold that thought. It's 5:20. 5:20 is the time when Building 7 fell, and I just used it as an opportunity to say a prayer for 9/11 justice. If you guys would just hang with me for a moment while we do that. Lord, thank you so much for everything that's going on. All of this work that everybody's been doing through all these years, that we are now at a point where the tide does seem to be turning, and all of our efforts individually and collectively as a group, despite anybody having opposing views or whatnot, it is moving the ball forward. And we're just looking for the day when we would see justice in our lifetime. I just ask for prayers and protection in this next month as we ramp up to that event date. And that you would just guide us and protect us. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. And Christopher Joya just joined us.
Hi, Chris.
Right
Hello,
on.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Ah, a miracle.
A miracle.
Hi, guys.
Howdy.
Hey, Chris.
How are you? Hey, Richard. Hello.
Any messages joining in or
No, nothing yet.
Okay.
We can get to.
Yeah, we will. All right, let's get back into the news. So again, a bunch of events scheduled for this month of September. Starting off September 5th, Craig McKee, Andy Steele, and a whole bunch of other people are putting on Checkpoint 25. It'll be an all-day event. It'll be online starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. Special guests, just read down through this: James Corbett, Massimo Mizuko of New Pearl Harbor, Barry Zwicker, Andy Steele, Mick Harrison, Adam Ruff, Xander Arena, Cheryl Curtis, Sheila Casey, Nicola Broderick, Clark Rector, and Raul Captain Emeritus, Raul Angulo.
And Nicola Broderick being Roland Angle's wife.
Yes, thank you.
I believe they were married.
Craig, do you have anything you want to add to that real quick?
Yeah, there's 3 names we've added since that graphic. Two New Yorkers, Jessica Coco and Eric Rossi, are going to talk with Cheryl Curtis is going to handle that one, and they're going to talk about their specific experiences as New Yorkers, as people living in Manhattan, and sort of what that whole experience was like for them. And also Ryan Christian, who is heads up the Last American Vagabond website, and I guess it's a podcast. I guess it's both. I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, Whitney Webb is part of that, is involved with that website too. So he's also going to be part of things, and I believe Cheryl's also going to do that interview. So the rest it'll be me, but
nice.
But that's where we are. But we've still got a couple invitations that we're waiting for answers on. So we may end up with more people than we bargained for, and
So
that's the problem when you put out invitations thinking, well, we have to put out lots, otherwise what happens if we don't get enough? And then of course everybody says yes, and then you're like, oh boy.
Yeah, so it's going to carry over into Sundays, what you're saying.
Well, my original thought was let's just break it in half and do it over 2 days, but then then you have the issue of whether do you need to have separate links, or does it become more complicated to kind of whatever. So I was sort of convinced that no, it's better to do it in the one day. And of course, you don't necessarily expect people to watch 12 hours in one sitting necessarily, although it'd be great if they did. But there'll be individual videos available on YouTube, and I'm sure some people will catch up after the fact, which is.
So stay tuned for that. I don't think there's a website yet for it, but we'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, I have to. Yeah, there isn't a website yet. Where I don't know if we'll be able to get that up beforehand. We do have, the group does have a Substack page, and I have to get an article up, sort of talking about the conference on there, which I will do over the next hopefully 2 or 3 days. But I'm continuing to sort of post things on social media.
Excellent. Thank you.
That's a good problem to have. Too many great speakers.
Well,
nice work.
That's right. Better than the alternative. Yeah.
So that'll be on the 5th. On the 6th, Sander Hicks is doing something at the Quaker House in New York. 9/11 at 25. Truth as a Path to Justice and Peace. So far, all I see is Dennis Kucinich has confirmed. But if anybody's in the New York area, check that out. On the 7th, Saunders' birthday. And Susan's, yes. On the 8th, the Northern California Alliance 9/11 Truth Alliance will be doing their film festival at the Grand Lake Theater, if anybody's out in the Oakland area there. And the 10th through 13th, there's this other thing going on. called Turning the Tide that we've been working on and part of. And we just got a new confirmed speaker, and that would be Dr. Chris. Whoops. Yeah, there we go. Dr. Chris Martenson. So that's great. If anybody's familiar with him, he's done a lot on the Charlie Kirk investigation and other things.
And the Butler one.
The Butler one,
Yeah.
yes. That's where we first got on board with him or heard about him. So yeah, check out for Dr. Chris Martenson. And I have a little clip about him that we had a talk with him about last year, bringing him on board, and I just really appreciated this. Here we go. Everybody's contact information. Any final words from you, sir?
Yeah, no, I'm really inspired. Thank you. I mean, these are all my heroes here. I've really been following this very, very closely for a long time. And it's bothered me greatly because it was the main mythology narrative that pushed my country into the Patriot Act and bombing and killing people and all this crazy stuff, right? And it's a fiction, obviously. And I'm personally offended as a scientist that they wanted to ask me to violate the laws of physics just this one time, right? I don't do that. It's a big problem for me. And because as soon as you don't have common understand, like when you can't share role, this idea that type 1 office buildings don't fall down because of fires, because we figured that out a long time ago. Like suddenly we have to believe they do. It's crazy making. And so I think that this topic though is the core. This is the biggest tragic insult that happened to my country. Wounded us psychologically, geopolitically, economically, all across all sorts of dimensions. And frankly, though, it's just effing stupid as they presented it, right? And they should have at least had the decency, I think, to give us a credible story. And they didn't. They don't even care. That's how much they hold us in contempt, right? So that's sort of my animating energy under this. But I will present this smooth and calm because I understand that when I come at this with that passion, I'll collect all the other people who have that same energy of passion. I strip that out for my presentations because the key is I give a nice even thing. I know that I'm challenging belief systems, which is always an emotional territory. Here's a belief system. People might go, Chris, to believe what you're saying about Building 7 means I have to believe my government did that, which means I have to give up my faith in authority, which means I have to disbelieve maybe my parents and my pastor. It's hard work, right? Yeah. So that's actually the ask we're making. So it has to be delivered in a way that just sort of steps through that minefield as carefully as possible. But the one thing that gets people to shift out of their belief systems is to suddenly realize, wait, I'm behind everybody else already thinks this. I got to catch up, right? That's sort of the direction I go at this from. So, and my approach, David, is exact. I bring only enough numbers to do the job, right? And no more, right? Because it's not actually helpful to reaching new people. That's my goal. I want to reach the fence sitters. There's diehard people who will never give up that belief system. They'll take it to the grave. These are Japanese soldiers wandering out of the jungles of Guam in 54, right? And since you can't reach them, you don't try, right? Just let go. But there's this middle, not majority, but probably 40-50% of people that can be reached and they're ready to be reached. So that would be, I would just want to put this all together, reach out to you guys in Galford. I just need, what's the best pictures? I hadn't seen that South Side picture of.
Oh, there we go. Chris Martenson, looking forward to meeting him. That's fantastic. So to get back into who else is there. Yeah, the list, if you go to turningthetide 911.org and up at the top of the page, click on event details and it'll put you here. And we're starting to get the days lined up and who's speaking on what days. Again, saw Roger Waters, Dennis Kucinich.
Hold on. Do you think you're sharing right now?
I thought I was. I guess I'm not. Yes, thank you. Let's try that again.
Gene, is Bill Manning going to be there?
Yes, Bill Manning is going to be there.
Oh, that's huge.
Yes,
it is huge.
He
wrote an article titled "Selling Out the Investigation," talking about the destruction of evidence.
Oh, wait, back then he wrote it.
Yes,
he's the chief editor of back then.
Yeah, fire engineering. Yeah.
Yep.
Chris, you're going to be, I mean, I don't want to say the star of the movie, but you are an important figure in the movie that they're going to be showing in the afternoon of the 11th. The responders. Anything you want to say about that?
I saw I guess there's a trailer. I saw it.
Yeah, that
No,
guy.
I think, it's time, and let's see what people think about it.
Mm-hmm. Looking forward
Yeah,
to
I
it.
say he's the star of that movie. That's for sure.
Yeah, you did great.
That's cool. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, that, you're talking something that was shot about 6 years ago. I almost forgotten it, you know. But yeah, I was telling Richard, I spoke to Richard on the phone the other day, and you know what? This is it. This is our time. We're pulling out all the stops.
You're gonna put on your brass, and
Yep.
you're gonna put on your brass, Chris.
Yeah, you better believe it.
Hey, see if we can get
That was-
Eric to wear his brass too.
That was Chris. That was Chris pulling in that truck there, by the way.
I bet you Captain Patterson would wear his brass if he comes too.
I bet you he would.
Oh, he'd love to.
Yeah, we're still waiting for him to confirm.
I think anybody who served should wear their uniform.
Put on your best New York accent. I love it.
Some coffee. Well, some coffee in New York.
I'll bring the coffee.
Sue, you have something?
Yeah, I put a link in the chat. There's another event going on in New York City, a choral event put on by a colleague of Dusty Burke.
Oh, okay. See if I can get that real quick. There we go. Share. Oh, come on. I can't get to the button. There we go. Schiller Institute, New York City Chorus. A memorial. Nice. All right. So check that out. I'll put that in the show notes.
And do note that it says unsolved 9/11 events.
Yes.
Unresolved.
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 Yes.
Right.
The only difficulty is that September 11th at 7 p.m., which was getting into probably about when Chris is speaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for sharing that. All right, that's it for Turning the Tide. Again, check it out, turningthetide911.org. Whole list of events that whole week. That's great. And next, what do I have? We are working on some other speakers yet to be confirmed. We have reached out to Thomas Massey, and I got a surprising message a couple hours ago that he's following me on X now. So that's very exciting because we just yesterday sent him a formal invite through his congressional page to invite him to be a speaker, and we'll see how that goes. And then I followed up. I guess once he follows me, it unlocked that I can private message him. So then I just asked to confirm that he could see that. So we'll see what happens. And if anybody's considering going, affordable New York City hotel room secured for Turning the Tide, reserved by August 16th. This is the hotel that we'll all be staying at. It's about $255 a night for a king and $270 for 2 queen beds.
Yeah, not bad for New York.
Yep, and it's at the Aloft. It's just north of Central Park in Harlem, which is only about a half-hour walk from the event. So if you
Very
get a
nice,
chance,
safe walk. Also,
yes. So check it
and
out.
it's a great hotel, very clean, nice, great neighborhood, as these days.
Aye. Thank you for that. What else we got here? Another event is going on. All-star lineup announced for New York City, still rising after 25 years, a 9/11 Charities comedy benefit.
Yeah, that's a 9/11 event, not a 9/11 truth event.
Yeah, this is not us. This is somebody else. Jon Stewart, Pete Davidson, you guys are familiar with them, are once again bringing together comedians for a night of laughs to benefit 9/11 Charities, with the event marking the 25th anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks. New York City, still rising after 25 years, blah, 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 is set for September 10th, New York City's Madison Square Garden. So they're going big. The lineup features Aziz Ansari, Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, Ronnie Ching, Pete Davidson, Nikki Glasser, Josh Johnson, and Jon Stewart, with the promise of more special guests. So that's going on as well.
Oh, I'm sure they're gonna throw some digs at Bush and Cheney and what happened.
Yep. We were gonna go for Madison Square Gardens. We're like, nah, we'll just
We'll leave them the space.
Yeah, we'll leave them. Also in the news, Richard was just interviewed by Alex Newman of Liberty Sentinel, and again, he got to share his presentation. Richard, any takeaways or anything to add about that one? Unless he just jumped off, probably to get ready for the event tonight.
Yeah, I jumped off,
I'm still on.
but Gail's still on. No, that's worth playing. It's only 6 minutes, actually. Not right now, but I mean, worth putting in the chat so people could play it and share that. It's all about turning the tide.
Oh, nice. Fantastic. I'll do that real quick. Let's see.
There's no evidence. You don't have to worry about that.
Paste, copy, and paste. And there we go. It's in the chat. Thank you, Richard and Gail.
Thank you.
Yes, I'll hang on. I'll go finish getting ready.
And then another person that looks like we're going to get at the event. He's doing some promo videos for us on top of what Ellie's done, and Ellie has done a great job. I was actually going to play that here. I thought I had it queued up. Actually, let me do that.
Oh God, Gene, I thought you were going to get Larry Silverstein. I saw his picture pop up.
Yeah, that's we're getting there. First, I want to show the promo video that Ellie put together. This is for the event, and a good job, Ellie. I really appreciate this. Here we go.
That's the new one, right?
This is the new episode, version 3, yes.
If you look at the film of the North Tower collapsing, you can see all the explosions in the controlled demolition of that building happening in front of your very eyes.
That was the BBC and in real time on television telling you that the Building 7 had already fallen when it hadn't fallen yet.
If it was true that 2 planes brought down 3 buildings in a completely unprecedented way, then that should have caused us to rethink the way we build these buildings. It didn't.
If 100,000 tons of structural steel is found that far outside of the perimeter, what's there to crush the building?
Not 1, not 2, but 3 different peer-reviewed scientific studies have concluded there was informed trading before 9/11.
We have a clear right and an obligation to search for answers to the fundamental question about the planning of 9/11, its execution, the physical effects, the structural consequences when the plane hit the World Trade Center.
I felt this, I call it an incredible force of wind, of something coming at you. You either gotta move or you will die.
And on the side of the U-Haul truck had a mural. Had the Twin Towers on the side and a plane going into the Twin Towers.
The further down into that pile I got, the more I could make out what looked like from a science fiction movie, molten lava.
Why was crucial evidence of melted structural steel suppressed and not even considered, or worse yet, allowed to be carted off and destroyed?
The 9/11 Commission did not look into at all how the towers came down.
There were a number of hijack exercises prior to 9/11 that mirrored the events.
In my work with the anthrax letters, they would cite experts or, administration official, and they would never give you the name. And when they don't give you the name, they're giving you the narrative.
How come 4 commercial airplanes could be hijacked in a period of 90-something minutes and nothing happened?
Just a great lineup of people. Keeps getting better. And the awareness is being risen. And I just appreciate all the hearts and minds and effort in all of this from everybody. So there it is. Thank you, Ellie, for that. And not to take away from Ellie, but you might know this other guy. That's where I was going with this. His name is Lucas. He's otherwise known as Timeline Junkie. And last year he put out this, I'll just play about 60 seconds of it, this trailer that went viral. And he's going to help us with some other promo videos. But here is Lucky Larry and the Preposterous Plan, just 60 seconds of it.
1.5 billion.
Well, now that's just insane.
These fucking vultures are trying to pluck my eyes out.
Have you talked to Rudy yet?
Rudy was the one who told me.
That's the price. I mean, what do you want me to say? It's 1.5. It's just what it is.
This is just... When big things move, all parties have to be mutually, Well, it goes without saying, somebody is incredibly miffed you made that
Miffed?
deal.
My guys told me 150 million tops. If I can't get that shit out of those walls for less than 1.5 billion, I'm fakakta. You understand? I never should have listened to you.
I never told you to buy 2 towers of Babel filled with asbestos. Nothing in New York real estate is that easy. You weren't buying a fucking deli.
I don't have 1.5. I need that shit out of the walls, or I need those buildings
Which
gone.
I told you is never going to happen. The demolition will probably cost more than it did to build the fucking things.
See? Fakakta. At this point, it costs less to get someone to fly fucking planes into the building and collect the insurance.
For that, you'd need terrorism insurance.
And I won't play any more of that. There is a lot of swearing in it, but it's just his artistic license, I guess you'll say.
It certainly went viral last year.
Yes, it did. And 24,000 views a year ago. He has since 3 weeks ago, Timeline Junkie put out an addition to that, and it's this one, and I'm just gonna play a little bit of it as well. And it's Larry Silverstein seeing that this viral video is out there.
It's Larry Silverstein reacting to the Lucky Larry.
And not the real Larry Silverstein. This is all AI, but
Yeah.
Here we go.
I don't even know how to work this stupid thing. Oh, it plays automatically, okay.
Well, now that's just insane.
These fucking vultures are trying to pluck my
What in
eyes
the...
out.
Is this supposed to be me?
Rudy was the one who told me.
0.5 billion for asbestos removal? I mean, it was a lot, but come on, they're just being silly with that figure.
When big things move, all parties have to be mutually...
And who is that? David? Why the heck did they call him Saul?
Somebody is incredibly miffed.
So you guys, he just
I don't
picks
even
at the
sound
movie. There's a segment where he actually brings up Lucas. I got to play that part real quick. Here we go.
Have you seen this?
What, the oil index?
This AI video thing called Lucky Larry. They're saying we blew up the...
Oh, yeah. I love that one.
What?
I mean, yeah, it's like a year old, dude. You got to get online more.
It's horrible.
Everybody has seen it. I'm like an actual celebrity now. My wife even started giving me trim again, you know, because she's a big Albert Brooks fan. I showed it to Bush. He was howling. Probably watched it like 400 times.
I can't believe some junkie is able to make something like this.
Oh, no, he's not an actual junkie. That's just his little nickname, Timeline Junkie.
Who would want to call themselves that?
It's actually kind of clever if you think about it.
Well, listen, we got to at least sue him or send a, the letter that says stop.
Yeah, well, the suing thing wouldn't work because he has no money to begin with. So we did try and ruin his entire life for the past 6 months after the first episode came out.
What the fuck do you mean you're not signing the contract?
But somehow he's still trucking along,
That
I
was
guess.
Lucas.
He's determined. I'll give him that.
What, there's more? There's a whole episode?
So he is putting out a trilogy. There was a 30-minute first episode. He's going to put out 2 more episodes, and he's agreed to help us out and creating some promo videos. So I'm excited about that. Again, check him out, Timeline Junkie. All right, what else we got? Also, I don't want to forget Matt Campbell. This inquest court hearing is going to happen October 14th and 15th, I believe, and they still need help. If anybody could donate, please do. Roger Waters gave $100,000 of his own money to help with this, but if you get a chance, you go to ic911.org. Up at the top, you can give, and it'll take you right to the crowdfunder where you can help them out. Please do. He will also be speaking, Matt Campbell, at the Turning the Tide event. So, right on. And I think that's it.
Boston.
Oh, let's go to Boston. And
Craig. Yeah, it's called too.
yeah, we got a bunch of stuff. Oh, actually, let me get Mac, you got your hand up?
Yeah, I just thank you. I just want to say something that's probably obvious to a lot of people on this list, but the September 8th event with Pete Davidson at the Garden, I take that as Zionist-funded propaganda who's going to promote the official theory by terrorists and probably going to take pokes at us. So I just wanted to put that in clear context just because it wasn't said, and that's my interpretation of it. Thank you.
Yes, that is definitely not in in a line with us, John Stewart's never really befriended the 9/11 Truth movement, and yeah, you can expect a lot of the official support there. Oops, sorry.
Didn't Pete Davidson's dad die?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
You'd think he'd have a vested interest in getting to the truth.
I've tried repeatedly to reach out to him and no go. So thank you, Mac. Let's go to Sue for an update on Boston 9/11 Truth. Thank you, Mac.
Yes, so we had music night. We had 3 live performers last Wednesday, and they were Sharon Abreu, Kristen Gasparini, and Sander Hicks, and it was a fun night. So I interspersed with boy, I got a flood of recommendations for 9/11 music, and I just had a terrible time even deciding what to play. Ended up pretty much random. So I'm going to pick away at the list for future Zooms. And so a week from Thursday, we will have Andrew Teese, because he's just released a new 9/11 book. He's going to talk about that. I have not seen it yet, although I did read some what was available online. So it looked pretty good. It started out sounding like it was the official story, but it leads you into the questions. So I thought that was a pretty good approach.
Yeah, and I think he's been back and forth with Richard also for input and corrections and stuff like that. So
yeah,
he was straight to the source on that.
So that'll be August 13th, and we still don't have any other speakers lined up. So feel free to recommend to me future speakers and with their contact information. And we might just bring back old speakers again.
I know. Thank you, Sue.
Some people are worth having on a regular basis, I'd say.
I think you're right.
Always have something interesting to say.
But I'm also going to continue interspersing with music, because I really still strongly believe that high energy vibe that music gives you.
Yeah,
really
I don't know if when I sent you that list, again, it was just the list I'm working with for Turning the Tide. Two of those videos in there were mine. I forgot to specifically tell you that. Yeah. Okay, you did.
Oh, I can tell.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yes, I definitely will play that one when we, get around to it. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Sue. Go to Lou, and then I'm going to go to Craig on the teleconference. Go ahead, Lou.
I agree with Susan Serpa. You know, one of the reasons that the 60s cultural revolution occurred is because of the protest music. And we had a guy out in San Francisco that was making beautiful music for a long time. I'm bugging his name. I've got a meme of him. You know, many of you know that I'm a kind of a jocular nerd. And so I quote Kurt Vonnegut quite a bit. He said, "We are what we pretend to be. So be careful what you pretend to be." And one of the things that makes this group feel like family to me and moves me is that we have integrity, and we absolutely refuse to pretend that we don't know we're lied to by public officials and people that we should place trust in. So we're really, in a revolution of awareness, to quote my mentor and friend, although he's elusive, I hope he's well, Christopher Bolin. And I hope Carl Gullivant is on here, because his background image is the great book Solving 9/11 by Christopher Bolin. So thank you all, and I appreciate being part of this.
Thank you, Lou. Craig, do you mind if I take Al's hand real quick? Okay, go ahead, Al.
Yeah, I was on Facebook, as I so often am, and there was a video of testimony of the planes that flew into the building, and it was I sent them to you, and I had never seen them, but they were talking about how they didn't have windows, how they were black. And I don't know if anybody ever investigated these guys. They sounded legit, had the New York accent and everything. And I just was curious if anybody had ever commented on that video. And
I have heard that. I've also heard witnesses saying they saw it and saw the planes and saw the people in so it's all over the place as far as the eyewitnesses accounts of what happened there. But again, I like to, and I say that in a lot of the chats on Facebook and social media. My opinion is the no plane in New York City is a red herring, because the bigger problem is that planes cannot cause fire-resistant steel-framed high-rises to collapse entirely evenly and through themselves. So there's the bigger problem, whether there's a plane or whether there's not a plane. So let's concentrate on something
I don't think it was a no plane argument. I think what the planes were, whether they were military or if they were commercial, which piqued my interest, and love to hear from people that might have thought the same.
Aye.
Yeah, and there's always that engine that was found, the engine that was found in the street that people said did not belong to a plane, but then the thing was an engine that they found between two buildings also.
Strut. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
All kind of stuff going down in rabbit holes there.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It was a piece of landing gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they thought at first, and then later it turned out to be a part of the wing.
Oh, okay.
There was a rope around it, and people are wondering whether they lowered it down, because why was this rope around it? Yeah, there's
the rope was around it to get it down, and they didn't get the picture.
Allegedly, yeah, we don't know.
But. Yeah, there's so much we don't know.
Thank you, Al. Carl, please hang, because I've been promising Craig to go to him, and everybody keeps raising their hand one at a time. Let me just get through this last piece with Craig. Craig, the 9/11 teleconference.
Yeah, so probably not a whole lot new to say from that, because basically we talked about the anniversary events for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to introduce our event to the group, which hadn't heard about it before, with a little bit more detail about how the sessions will break down. And then you guys gave us an update on turning the tide. Oh yeah, Andy Steele was was part of that too, giving his take on it. And there I am. And of course, we had a preview of Crime Scene to Courtroom as well from Richard and Barbara Honegger. So it was just kind of like, what's new in the movement, I guess, which is, we didn't have a speaker like we, in the normal sense, like we often do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you want to remind people that you put up a link on the site.
If any, this is his meetings or the 9/11 teleconference meeting is the last Wednesday of every month. So if you guys, the next one should be, the last Wednesday is the 26th of August. And a nice, easy way to remember to get into the YouTube, or not the YouTube, into the Zoom call. If you go to 911warroom.com/911 teleconference, and it created a page for them there, and you can click on that. It'll put you right into the call, kind of like mixed calls on Saturdays, which there wasn't one this past Saturday. Anyways.
No, that's, we appreciate that. And if you want to, you can also go to the Substack page, the one you just showed, which is good to be aware of, because you get the agenda there every month. We usually put it out the Sunday before the call, and then I put out a reminder on the Tuesday usually, and also the video gets posted there. So that's 911teleconference.substack.com. So you can go there and you just click subscribe. You don't have to pay, obviously. You just click subscribe and you'll get the agenda every month, and you can join us.
Right on. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Back to Carl.
Gene, a few weeks or even a month or two back, you said you spoke with Helya Bolen about the possibility of Chris being at the conference, either virtually or in person. Yep. any update on your conversation? Was it by telephone or Skype or something?
No, she commented. Where was that? I forget how she did, but she said he has a new email address, and he hasn't emailed me back. So I don't know. As I understand it, because there was this thing with the law that if he comes back in the United States, he risks getting arrested again because there's this outstanding warrant for him. I think that's why he's not coming back into the States, but I'll continue to keep trying.
But I don't think that's why he wouldn't be traveling back, because that warrant nonsense was all over long before he was around the U.S. touring in 2017 when he came out with his more recent, very concise book, The War on Terror. By the way, Lou, thank you for pointing out the cover of the book, Solving 9/11 by Christopher. But Gene, I just wanted to clarify, you spoke with her by telephone, or was this communication by
email? She sent me, yeah. Oh, it was Facebook. Her and I talked via Facebook, yes.
Okay, I just wondered because it's, I can appreciate them deciding that they're just going to participate from a distance, because they've laid a firm foundation of information, evidence, pointing to evidence and analysis. And who is going to be presenting that perspective during the conference, the Turning the Tide conference, the Berlin perspective?
Can you be specific about what the Berlin perspective is as you see it?
Well, I would say the abundance of the totality of his articles as are the foundation for his book, Solving 9/11, the deception that changed the world, and then his subsequent book, the War on Terror. We've all discussed, I think everyone here has said that they've read Solving 9/11. So the perspective and the information, will that be brought out about who benefited, who was behind orchestrating events, perhaps? Is anyone scheduled to talk about that?
Nobody's talking about nobody's making accusations. I mean, I think there's just this general understanding that, before you make accusations, you actually have to first define the crime, like Mick Harrison says. You have to get to the bottom of that. The whole point of having an investigation is to then have the subpoena power, have the whole apparatus functioning so that you can actually get to the whodunit. And
go ahead, sorry.
Well, the problem with coming out and implying directly or indirectly that a certain person or certain people are responsible, then puts you in a really bad position, because then all the person has to say is, well, prove it. And you can't really prove it. You can connect dots. You can say it looks really bad. You can point to certain things, but it's a step removed from actually, having proof. And
Sandra, I appreciate your lecturing me on how one investigates and how one establishes proof beyond a reasonable doubt in a criminal investigation. A discussion of who benefited and actually naming names of people who are in certain places associated with certain companies, software that's owned by people in certain countries that is essential to how FAA's computer system integrates with DoD for exactly hijacking type of events. That's all documented by Berlin. This isn't a matter of, just discussing who benefited. But one of the earlier speakers was saying that, it's our government, did it. But that's, I think that's a bit simplistic. I think there are other forces at work, and even
it's strategic.
Infiltrated within our. Now we have somebody from CIA now who is saying that people at CIA actually think that there was a controlled demolition of their building 7, where they had their very large office. Now, I for one was assigned as a federal agent to sift
we've
the
heard this
rubble
5,000 times. Could you just wrap it up, please? I get it that we want to talk about this subject. We would love to have Christopher O'Billen be able to present. He's not answering emails. I'm sure someone is probably going to touch on the subject now and then throughout the whole course of the event. I don't think there's one specific person going to.
I'll wrap it up. Wrap it up. So if CIA people are actually saying, controlled demolition, now if no, who's going to speak to the fact that federal agents were assigned to sift the finer rubble of 7 for computer components, which might have actually sifted out any undestroyed demolition electronics? I've provided that information. Is that going to come out at this 25th anniversary conference? Will someone else please say that for me?
I'm sure I'm sure you'll be there, and I'm sure you'll be talking to a lot of people about it. So,
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, and maybe, I'm not an expert, but out of the 1,000,
part of the cover-up. It's part of the cover-up when you have people going through the finer rubble. So if the cover-up is part of 9/11, well, highlighting that, it wasn't just like what Brett Weinstein and Ron Johnson said in their podcast, like going through the big pile at Ground Zero. No, it was going through the finer rubble after it was brought to the landfill on sifting machinery, fairly sophisticated machinery, to let you look at things in detail. And there are government records related to our being assigned and paid and what we took out of it. So isn't that important information to come out at the conference?
But that's what I'm trying to say. In the grand scheme of things and the hundreds, if not thousands of points of evidence that exist of that nature, I'm just not sure. I think that, and I'm not saying it's not important.
I'm not going to make an excuse for this. And if it comes out, it'll come out. I'm glad you'll be there and you'll be talking to people. Thank you for your comments.
It should come out as a speaker should reveal that.
Okay. Ross, what do you got?
Okay, just going to go through some things very quickly. Craig, I'm addressing Craig's got the 2 New Yorkers on his event there. Please ask them, I'm sure they're going to tell you what their perceptions were of the city after the event, for the days after the event. Make sure that question gets asked, and I'm sure they're going to give you the answer. That if they don't give you these answers, I'd like you to ask them the questions. Well, what else did you perceive about the days afterwards? And were there any of your 5 senses? In other words, if you're watching it on TV, like 99% of the people in the world, they didn't have the sense of smell, they didn't have the sense of touch, they didn't have the sense of taste, so they didn't have live hearing, sound. So ask them maybe then specifically, were there any other senses involved other than just seeing it happen like we all on TV saw it? And so that leads to the question about the smell. So that's where really New Yorkers that were here, and there's other things too, but that want to establish that to get that consensus about what that smell was like. Anyway, the other thing I'll bring up, Al's suggestion about the gray plane. I think it was a K-46 refueling tanker, which is a 767 with bigger engines on it, like the type that some people say were found of the bigger engines. And it certainly looks like a KC-46 refueling tanker, which of course would make quite a big explosion if it was filled with fuel. And one of the main reasons that I'm very positive that I think it's definitely consideration is the New York Times article that came out less than a month after 9/11. For that very tanker, Boeing lost the contract to provide those tankers to the U.S. military. Of course, it came back almost 20 years later, and Boeing got that contract back. Not only did they lose that contract back in the day, they lost it to Airbus, a European company, a European consortium, to provide the U.S. military with its refueling tankers. Right away, that was like the big first bell that rang in my head. It's like, okay, something's up, something's not right. You don't take away Boeing's contract 1 month after for a KC refueling tanker. I didn't put it in the context of hitting the towers, but I just thought, how are they doing this to Boeing so soon after the? All right, anyway, the activism quickly, the young people, and and just my experience of activism as it's gone on over time, especially this summer, it's more and more this way where I used to get criticized, and we've all used to run into people that get angry or can criticize you. And those people, I'm telling you what's happened, I believe it, and it's part of just the natural chemistry of truth telling, not so much necessarily our work, but and that is that the people that are being supported by the official story that feel like they've got that behind them when they come up and attack you, they used to feel like they're putting you like you're the irrational one. I always talk about irrational desires and versus the rational. But if it's an irrational desire, which can be a good thing for humanity, as long as it becomes rational, more and more rational with time, then it's a good thing. And I think what's happening to them is the reverse. These people that are behind the official story, they attack you as being irrational. I think now they're very quiet and they stay on the sidelines more than ever. And that is because now they realize they're the ones that are irrational. They're the ones that have been irrational, and the more time that goes by, the more obvious that is. And the people that come and talk to me are the ones that agree with me overwhelmingly. And they're the ones that are more vocal, and they're the ones that are louder now, not the other way around. So that's something that we know that has been achieved. Kids, and the last experience I had was a 2.5 hour long conversation, which started with two kids that were born. They were 2 years old when the event happened. And they came up to me and they said, "Okay, we don't have time to talk because we got other thing we have to do. Can you just tell us what you got to tell us?" So I kind of like that. I thought, okay, good. So I started in with what I normally tell. And when they picked up on that, and then they started asking me the questions that I was going to, talk about subsequently. So they already had the thread going in their mind. And bottom line, lo and behold, the end of the day is we had a 2.5 hour long conversation. I don't know what happened. Wow. I kept saying, "Well, what happened to your, I said, "No, it's okay. It's okay." By the end of the whole thing, it was like, and we went through COVID, we went through all the false flag stuff, and so it was really a pleasure. I think the best thing about doing the activism on the street is, and it's very rare when you see somebody wake up 100% right in front of your face.
Yeah.
A lot of times you give people good information, and they say, "Yeah, that's good," and then they leave. But when you got through, and then they woke up, like they see it right there. A lot of them start crying when that happens.
Yeah.
But these kids were only 2 years old, so they didn't do that. But then bottom line was, well, what do you want to do about it was one of the things. And at the end, and I said, well, beyond teaching people about the economy, the, false flag, Hegelian dialectic, false flag, debt-based fiat economy, teaching people about that. And that's the problem with the world. I said, but the real thing I'm doing besides, say, well, you're trying to enlighten people with this truth. And I said, well, really, it's what I want is to build the towers again. I said, I think that does it better than anything. I moved on from that. But when they left, they turned around and looked at me and they shouted, "Rebuild the towers, rebuild the towers."
Oh, that's cool. Right on.
Yeah, so they got that. A lot of people getting that. I don't like the different groups that are involved in that because they're very status quo. A lot of them are pumping the official story and saying, yeah, but also we need to rebuild the towers. You can't really have it both ways, I don't think. But anyhow, and then I just want to ask you guys, Gene and Sandra, because I think Richard's probably a little busy right now. I'm telling people about TTT, Turning the Tide. There's going to be people going to that, obviously, that I've spoken to. But I don't know, because it's obviously been complex and a lot of moving parts. What is the goal? Because in 2018, we had front and center the event, and that was about getting the grand jury complaint up in front of the grand jury, and we did that. We achieved that. We got it to the grand jury. In 2020, of course, we know nothing happened really, based on the tragedy of AE 9/11 truth. Now we got the 25th anniversary. We got Turning the Tide. Can you say a goal for it that's more maybe simple?
In my opinion, this is just my opinion, I think we're at the crescendo of raising awareness. And I think Roger Waters said it best on one of his interviews where, when there's enough of us that are screaming from the rooftops, they cannot ignore us anymore.
Critical mass.
And I think we're getting to that critical mass, in my opinion, when you have Roger Waters and possibly, now Tucker Carlson. Hopefully he'll accept our invite. Don't know where that's at right now, but yeah, we get all these major names, and now the momentum has clearly changed. That's my hope.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good question because there could have been, some kind of overarching theme or aim or intent for it. But really, it is in a way kind of like a tipping point. It's the culmination of 25 years of doing this to reach this point of all of these voices who, you know, either were unaware even just a few years ago, or were completely disparaging about us, and now saying, yeah, you guys were onto something, which is extremely powerful. And I think it's just to consolidate it all into this, into these few days, and then to run with it. It's going to have a ripple effect of some sort. You know, and these people are all gonna, you know, talk to each other. I mean, Chris Martenson, when he's going to talk on the Saturday, but when we told him about the VIP brunch, he's like, man, he goes, I want to be there. Like, I mean, they all want to sit down with each other and talk to each other and exchange notes, I guess. So it's going to lay the groundwork for that, and who knows what comes of it, you know?
Yeah, it just seems like really it's becoming a real who's who, and that's a good thing. I wish it could be a little broader than that generation of the who's who's, but at least we have James Corbett, and we don't have Ian McGregor. Was it Ian McGregor that canceled?
Ian Carroll.
Ian Carroll. But okay, so it's a real who's who of you know, professional people. So they care about, at least they care about, pretending to care about consequences of truth. So anyhow, I'm quickly end with dust studies and the pancaking phenomenon that, you know, Gene is so familiar with describing well, and I'm starting to get it really down with the people. I want to talk about dust studies because it's a critical component for me about my hypothesis, and I want to know again from anybody that gets in front of these guys, Stephen Jones in particular. I wish he would be there, but who funded those studies that did? I really want to know where the money came from those guys to just, you know, kind of firmly nail down, you know, where their interests might be. You know, it definitely will tell me a little bit better about who else might be interested in this stuff. Who got that idea to study the dust? I had the idea, but, you know, I didn't pay them. Who paid them? I want to know that. And then the pancaking theory too, I looked into that, and that's something that's going to be very powerful for us, that whole issue. I won't get into it now. And then last thing was a huge day today. I spent a lot of time, money getting pivoting this year. I've had a lot of kind of tragic things happen, and I've been pivoting to try and deal with all. And my foot is stayed firmly on the base of rebuilding these different formats, while I've been pivoting around trying to absorb all the things. And it took a good opportunity was to purchase this big piece of land down, which I'll describe later, to create the World Truth Center with the larger Twin Towers, and I'm going to get built, or at least have the plans for. That's a big, huge, beautiful thing for everybody in the world, not just us truthers. I'll get into that in the future. The reason I was up really nervous. My computer crashed that I've been using to go through all that pivoting and from my entire life, all the technical drawings I did. Okay. And, you know, it crashed and it was really bad. The guys fixed it. It's like a new computer. I thought I was going to have to change my whole approach to doing everything because of, you know, and I now am like right back firmly ready to go forward. So that's it. I will say goodbye to everybody, but quick when I do say it. Okay, thanks.
Right on, Ross. I appreciate you talking to the young kids. For all of us, if you get a chance to talk to somebody, you can sense whether or not they're on the fence, and that's valuable time to spend time talking to somebody. But these flame wars that they call them in social media, if you're arguing over and over with trolls, you're just wasting your time. It's no sense in that. You can, even in talking to somebody on the street, you can sense it doesn't make any sense to chase them down the street and try to beat them over the head with facts. It's just not going to work. So,
like Chris Martenson said, they're like still those Japanese soldiers running out into the fields looking out for bombers in 1954, right?
So I appreciate you investing your time where you think it's valuable, and I think you made a great impression with those guys. And I do want to add, those CMU blocks behind you, they're not laying structurally most strong. I just want to point out, you probably know.
You're muted.
Oh, you're muted.
You got muted.
They're actually sculptures that I did a long time ago. They're light boxes. They light up, and each image has an old film, 70 millimeter film image from my days as a photographer.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so they
Oh, now
light
I
up.
see. Okay. I had to zoom
Yeah,
in. All right.
unfortunately, there's me and an ex fiance back there on one picture. There's some, but anyway, it's a kind of a personal history timeline in photographs and sculpture. That's what that is.
Very cool. All right.
And if I just wanted to quickly add on the note of reaching the younger generation, that was a big theme when we spoke to Timeline Junkie, who is 30, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to put an age on him, but definitely younger than us. And he spoke about how this whole generation growing up now is so open to hearing about all of this, and he rightfully said, all the documentaries that are out there, all the information that exists, it kind of like all feels the same. It has the scientific thing with the background, with the explanations, and he goes, it's gotten too old for this generation. It's still good on information, but not on conveying, like not grabbing them by the throat, And he has this whole vision of how to speak to that generation with his videos, with the way he's going to present at the conference, hopefully. And he has a lot of followers that are young. So more and more we're seeing that there is that shift happening. And, it might not look like what we're familiar with, but hey, as long as the message gets out there is what counts, and you're doing it your way. And, hopefully there's more where that came from.
Right on. Let's go to Jack and then Lou.
Yes, Lou brought up Kurt Vonnegut, and I actually spent time in Kurt Vonnegut's house in Manhattan talking with him. And he was very big on the media and how it is misleading the public. And that has become a big part of my life. He was married. He is married, was till he died, married to Jill Crements, who was my sister's sister-in-law. She was married to her brother. And Kurt Vonnegut was quite a brain and a good guy. And I keep running into people. I ran into a Navy veteran last night who wanted to talk, and in the parking lot of a store about he's telling me the version of history that he gets from Fox News, and he absolutely believes it. What Sid Rosenthal and Mark Levin and Sean Hannity, there's a list of all have to say, and it was virtually exactly the opposite of what I think. And I didn't say that to him directly, but I think this is a real big problem, and it's going to come back and bite us soon. So we should talk about it.
No, I think there was a great meme that said this billion-dollar propaganda war is being won by people at home with memes. Just putting out a little bit of information. What was the great quote that we just heard? There's a game called Werewolf. It's a game theory where a small group of people with forgetting the words.
A small group of informed people rule over a mass of uninformed people, something like that.
If you get a chance to look up this game theory called Werewolf, it's fascinating because all you have to do is to get them to question it. You don't even have to say anything. Just throw something out there that's questionable, that sits in their subconscious. You don't have to sit there and beat them up. You just walk away and let their own subconscious start to think about it. And you can cause so much of an uprising just through that. And I think that's what we're doing when we ask, how many towers fell on 9/11? And they say 2. And you say, well, did you know about the 3rd tower? And then it gets them thinking. So.
Yeah, but the problem with Fox News is they every day they have a new new controversy. Yep. And if Chris Martenson is effective, they'll say, do you know that Chris Martenson hasn't paid the taxes on the property?
We're getting to a critical mass, though.
They did that to somebody I know. And whose business is it if you're behind 8 months on the taxes? It's just not that Chris is, but they'll find something to pick on you and then yell about it.
Yep, we won't give up though. Thank you, Jack.
Don't give up.
Nope. Lou.
Yeah. Back to Bolin. He mentioned, being from Chicago as he was, with the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, actually breaking his arm in front of Helga and their two children, and then of course him being charged with assaulting a police officer. That's the charge, I believe.
Yep.
He does mention the Crown crime family, which James W. Douglas mentions in his book, the JFK and the Unspeakable, which I'd recommend to all of us. Also, his latest book from 25, Martyrs to the Unspeakable, where he makes a convincing case for JFK, Malcolm X, Dr. King, and then RFK, all being assassinated. In Dr. King's case, more the FBI. In the other three, more the CIA. Or maybe, anyway, those two agencies that are corrupt. And we know this. So that's one thing about solving 9/11 that I think is relevant. And then to switch gears on media studies. Neil Postman was an NYU professor of media studies, and one of his last books was Amusing Ourselves to Death. And I recommend that to us because he compares the Huxleyan and the Orwellian dystopian models, and he sides with the Huxleyan dystopian model, where soma can be compared to television as a soporific, and as opposed to 1984, where there's actual coercion, and you're forced to not only accept Big Brother but love Big Brother. So yeah, Neil Postman, the media scholar, and back to Christopher Boleyn, important writers and thinkers. Also, Chris Hedges. If you're not watching Chris Hedges, the Chris Hedges report right now, then you're not getting the really big picture, which Sandra mentions, the global, the big picture, the forest idea, rather than the trees. Because I think in our truther organizations, we sometimes, look at the trees, was it a hijacked plane? Was it remotely taken over? Whereas the big picture is, again, we're lied to, and that there's traitors, as Mike Zarzano says. We're ruled by traitors, and so we're American revolutionaries. And this is a revolution. It's a nonpartisan and strictly nonviolent revolution of awareness. Thank you for listening to me. I yield.
Right on. You mentioned something that triggered me. I never heard of this book that you mentioned before that he did. The one author, what's his name?
Neil Postman.
Neil Postman, Amusing Ourselves to Death, which is interesting because Roger Waters put in an album called Amused to Death. So I just found that striking.
Yeah, I'm going to note that one. I could be interested.
I think that he must have read that book. I'm gathering. Thank you, Lou.
You're welcome.
David Schlesinger.
Can you hear me?
And we can't hear you, unfortunately, again. I don't know what you did last time to fix it, but try working on that. I'm going to go to Mac while you're working on that. Go ahead, Mac.
Thanks. Yeah, over 10 years ago, we produced a speaking event for Chris Boleyn. I believe he had just written a book, and it was to help promote it. And, personally, I was very impressed with this man's courage. He gave a great talk, great Q&A afterwards, and I did buy and read his book, and so I was pretty much all thumbs up. But following the event, I could not help noticing that all his focus is on Zionists or Jews, either U.S. or Israeli based, and I think it's understandable because of his own personal experiences, some of them pretty bad. I think he lived in Israel for a while. Whereas, for some of us, including myself, we were leaning toward that, but also included other people like, Kevin Ryan's Another 19. We saw them as part of the team also. but still, I have a lot of respect for Mr. Boleyn. But like I say, I did feel his focus was limited in that way.
Yep, it's a sticky wicket that's going to stir up a whole hornet's nest here in the war room. But one thing that I've said that was really interesting, that Christopher Boleyn focused on the Israeli aspects of it, and David Ray Griffin focused on the American aspects of it. But it was like oil and water. They wouldn't talk about the other, and they're all involved. So. Yeah.
And if I could just add, thank you for expressing that. I was trying to abstain from making it quite that clear. It's very off-putting to a lot of people. And, and Christopher, and I'm just I tried to share this picture that just came up in my Facebook memories, but I can't share. But I love that picture that I have of Chris Boleyn holding up a sign that says, the 9/11 truth movement is the new peace movement. I love that. I'm totally with him on that. But for some of the other things, it's to me, it's too hardcore tunnel vision stuff. And in all fairness, Gene has the book. I should read it front to back.
Both of them, yep.
But yeah, anyways, so I just wanted to say thanks for expressing that.
Well, thanks, Mac. Dave Schlesinger, did you get your mic working? Doesn't sound like it. We'll go to Carl.
Thank you. Sandra, beyond those two books that you already have, there are 2 volumes, the original articles that Boleyn wrote contemporaneously as he went through this whole process, including the assault by the police out in Illinois. To reference public figures as possibly involved in something, to reference groups, entities, Zionists, foreign and domestic. These are not things that are, litigious. I mean, one can't be public figures. There's an exception to, discussing or even speculating about what they're involved in, that one can't be sued. And I don't think that's a concern of anyone here. But yet it seems to be used as a reason to not talk about it. Why is it that most of those involved in the conference, like even James Corbett, Richard, always have promoted the David Ray Griffin perspective. And Richard's even said he hasn't read Boleyn's work, which I found remarkable. So there needs to be a balance there, or otherwise, isn't what speakers are what is allowed to be said or what isn't allowed to be said a form of cover-up itself? Now, in chat, I've uploaded 2 photos. I went on. I'm now a member of Brett Weinstein's Locals podcast, and I uploaded the image that I'm using here in this Zoom of Boleyn's cover, and also uploaded a couple of comments. Can you show those on screen, Gene?
Okay, so everything is working. Wait a minute. Okay, it looks like we're getting volume.
Who's talking in the background?
I don't know. I'm trying to get these downloaded.
I can do it.
Why?
Okay. Just a moment.
Hang on one second. Getting there. There we go.
I don't know exactly what I did.
Somebody would mute whoever.
David.
Oh, he finally got his mic working. Don't mute, David. Just hang in there.
Yeah.
Carl, I'm playing. Here we go.
Well, it's just two images.
Yep, that one.
Now, what happened was, I uploaded this image of the Boleyn book cover with Ron Johnson, my image on it, and this podcast that Weinstein does. His wife, I don't know her name off the top of my head. She was looking in the chat thread. She said, "Oh, somebody uploaded a picture," and she read it right out loud. And both of them looked at the screen. She said, "Solving 9/11: The Deception That Changed the World." And then there's like about a 5 or more than 5 second pause as she's reading this chat, which I would like to actually read out loud what I posted there. And she says, "Brett, someone wants to talk with you." And here I'll just read what I posted in their board. "Hi, Brett. We have lots to talk about. Sometime soon, I hope. I'm the retired U.S. Customs Special Agent assigned with others to sift the finer rubble of WTC-7 after it was taken to Fresh Kills landfill, and was interviewed by Senator Johnson's PSI staff 7/14/2025, 6 weeks before your interview of Senator Johnson in early September 2025. Let's talk. And so there's a door open there that, well, we're aware of each other, and I'm sure we'll be talking. But what makes it into the official video record of the conference is important. You don't want to be considered part of the cover-up by keeping important information out of the official record.
Thank you. David.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, nice job.
All right, great. Yes, I have something mildly critical of the movement, but first I'm going to praise the movement. And that is that only the 9/11 Truth Movement has no ideological orientation. Every other political movement I've ever known of is either left or right. And at one point when I was with AE, I found 700 left of center and 700 right of center activists who were truthers. It was interesting. It was pretty much comparable level. Now my criticism, and it's been raised earlier, and that is that the movement doesn't care enough about outreach. I say this regularly. And what I need from folks regarding the idea of trying to find Nobel laureates, which would be a huge step. If we could get a half a dozen, it would be over. We would have won, because no professional will be willing to distance themselves from Nobel laureates. What I need is from folks to propose very simple, very simply described pieces of evidence that are easy to verify. Many things you have to actually have studied the issue in depth to know about this evidence. That's not what we need. We want something easy to prove, such as the photo of the tipping of the South Tower. I'd appreciate it if people would reach out to me with suggestions. Thank you so much.
Nice, David. Thank you. And for the sake of time, it's 6:32, and it usually takes about a half hour. So we have a hard stop at 7. Let's go around the room now. Thank you all. Let's go to David since I got you. David, any last comments for the group?
That was my comment.
Thank you so much, sir. Mike Cook, anything for the group?
Not a whole lot going on. We've had some harsh weather. My dogs are good. I'm good. And I'm looking forward to later tonight.
Right on. Thank you.
Yes, I just want to quickly go back to David. You said for people to reach out to you. I don't know if it's regarding ideas or whatever, but where can they reach you? Just make it easy for them or someone who's watching the video after the fact.
Text me on my phone, 410-499-5403.
Oops. Is it all right if I put that in the chat?
Can we put it in the chat?
Yeah, just text me is best. I don't even read my emails anymore.
Okay. Just to make it easier
you're
for
missing
someone.
out, dude. There's all these women that are looking for you, and you could be saving all kinds of money on your warranty on your car and your house and everything.
I don't have a house.
David, what's your number again? 410?
499-5403. Please text me. And it's okay if you suggest something that I'm not going to accept, but suggest it if it's simple and easy to prove.
Yep.
Or even if you just want to get involved, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But that's what I need is a list of I'd prefer the top 10 reasons why a given Nobel laureate should ask for a real investigation or say they believe it was a false flag.
Yep. Thank you, David. The most arrested person, I think, in the 9/11 Truth Movement. Thank you. We'll go to Sweet Jane. Anything for the group?
Oh, well, yes, I know this wasn't the topic of tonight's conversation per se. It has been in many other places, but I guess I just what keeps let's say percolating in my mind is the the overall idea that we have the directed energy weapons, exotic technology weapons, whatever, versus the more and maybe mixed traditional controlled opposition explanations for the Twin Towers, especially. I know there was a difference between Building 7 and the Twin Towers, but I guess I'm just continually puzzled by the either or scenario.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Yep.
Very few people address why couldn't it have been both. There's a lot of very credible evidence to my mind and many others, for some more exotic technology, but I also don't know how those in the, let's say, Judy Wood camp explain the jettisoned steel beams out of the Twin Towers.
Yep.
And especially, anyway, that I'm just putting that in there because it is a continual puzzle for me, that why it has to be one or the other.
Right.
How, I don't know anybody so far, maybe there are people who have given an encompassing explanation of the evidence for both happening. So that's my
I
voice.
think Richard has provided a strong case for nanothermite. We know the red grade chips were definitely in the dust, and the evidence for explosive forces forcing steel beams laterally 600 feet. Yes. And as I said before, Bob Greenyer has presented evidence that the nanothermite and explosives can't account for. So I think more people are open to multiple mechanisms, and you'll hear less and less of somebody saying there was only one mechanism that brought everything down. So
yes, absolutely. Thank you.
thank you. Let's go. And I think it's more important for us to focus. That's a kind of like within the 9/11 truth movement argument. This isn't something we go stand in front of the permanent subcommittee on investigations and start arguing in front of them about it. It's ultimately the government's responsibility to tell us how it was taken down, because fire didn't do it, and we all agree fire didn't do it. So thank you, Jane.
Exactly. Absolutely. That's the bottom line. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian, good. Anything for the group? No, look for you to come off mic. Larry Hansen, anything for the group?
Yes. Years ago, I wrote a 9/11.
Hard to hear you.
Oh. So
you were there for a second.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Huh. No, it went out. I don't know what happened there, but you were there.
Oh.
I hear him fine.
Really?
I hear him as well.
Wow. Okay, there we go. It was me.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Years ago, I wrote a 9/11 song in which I listed some of the damaging evidence. In case anybody is interested, I'm not a singer, but I'm a songwriter. I've written 100 songs, and I'll just put that out there.
Right on. Where can we hear you, or where do we go?
I've got an MP3 song in which I can send anybody this song.
All right. Yeah, send it to us. Yeah,
Boy, I
thank you.
wish I'd known about you for last Wednesday.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
We'll get in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you, sir.
Yes.
Everybody, that's Ray McGovern's brother. Just kidding. Just kidding. Al, anything? Oh, I'll come back to Al. Al, come back in the room. Mac, anything for the group?
We're pursuing a photo of Alan Reese, who for many years ran the No Lies Radio outlet, which had a lot of truth stuff on it. So we were able to dig up a family member, and we're in that process, hopefully getting a picture.
Nice. Thank you for being here, Mac. We'll go back to Al. Anything for the group, Al?
Sorry, I passed out. Not really. I mean, it's great stuff, and really looking forward to this event. And again, we're doing our thing up here with the highway blogging and going to the State House, and even though I'd love to be down there.
Yep.
So, good job, everybody.
Thanks, Al. Enjoy those afternoon naps.
Yeah. Get to be my age. You go out and like a light.
Don't forget the aerial banner.
Yes, that's right. We got the aerial banner. I got to get a photographer. Still trying to locate one.
Since we're Boston, I'll go to Sue. Sue, you want to carry on with that?
Yeah, just join us on August 13th. And just to follow up with what Jane was talking about, we give a Boston 9/11 Truth platform for all 9/11 truth related ideas. We don't officially endorse any particular idea. And frankly, personally, I think it's just enough to prove controlled demolition by whatever means.
Yep. Thank you, Sue. Jack Bottomley, anything for the group?
Yes. Two things. First, I think it's a terrible shame that Richard and Christopher Berlin are not pals. And it's too bad because Christopher Berlin spoke in Cambridge, wasn't far from Richard Gage in New York, and David Ray Griffin was right in the area too. So they could have all come over to Jane Milton's house for a party. But it's important that, and one reason it's important, maybe even Dr. Judy Wood could be invited, because I've noticed with these fights over directed energy weapons, some of the people who are screaming about directed energy weapons, I think they're just paid disruptors. I've really noticed that for a long time. I mean, some people like Jim Fitzer seem to be sincere, but some of them aren't. They're just disrupting for the sake of disrupting. Thanks.
Yep. Thank you. I just got to share that. I don't think Richard and Christopher are at odds with each other. This me in 2017, I was completely enamored that I got to meet Christopher Berlin. But if I could, now my other screen won't pop up. There we go. They were sitting right beside each other in 2017. This is at the DC event. And I think they're cordial with you. I don't think there's any fighting there. So
No.
Yeah.
I never got that sense either.
Anyways. Thanks, Jack. Al, you got your hand back up?
Yeah, I was
Now that you're
wondering
awake.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. The guy, what is it, DC 9/11? Is he a disinfo site? I can never figure out.
Oh, no. DC 9/11 is the group that belongs to Diana Castillo, and
Don O'Malley, Candace
Sheila Casey,
Yes.
and Craig, I believe, is involved with moderating that group as well. It's not the group that's the problem. They had a sudden influx of hundreds and hundreds of new followers, some of which are said disruptors that Jack was just referring to. And they've been all over the place, and the moderators can't keep up, the admins can't keep up with the posts. So we had this discussion to make sure that the posts are subject to approval before they go up. And now they're just trying to clean up the mess. Jean helped them out with that yesterday, just getting rid of all that garbage. But yeah, so it's not DC the problem. The problem was those people who came in.
And how about the 9/11 revisionist guy?
Yeah.
Well, he's the problem.
All right.
He's
We're
a
not going to go down
problem,
that rabbit
right?
hole. Not a nice guy.
No,
I'll just leave it at that.
Really irks the hell out of me.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to know the ones that we are not following. I get them mixed up, but anyway, good to know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Carl, and we'll use this as your going around the room. What do you got?
I appreciate that. As far as Richard and Chris goes, I don't know if they're actually currently speaking. Yeah, they were both at that DC event in 2017. But Richard, more recently went on the PBD podcast and referred virtually like all of David Ray Griffin's books, but then said he brought up Boleyn, but he was prompted to, but then said he'd not read it, so he couldn't say what Boleyn's perspective was, which I just, clearly there was a concern that, of not wanting to offend, the broader Zionist interest, I think I'd have to say. And it's just really short-sighted that, there's circumstantial evidence that points towards a pattern of behavior that if one must discuss who benefited, because as Sue and someone else just brought up, we can get past the hijacker issue simply by acknowledging something other than aircraft and jet fuel brought down those buildings, which means explosives. This is 10 seconds till I'm done. Explosives pre-positioned, which means it's a false flag. The airplanes, whether remote piloted or drones, are just meant to allow it to be blamed on the so-called hijackers. So then it's a question of who benefits from the false flag event. And it might be multiple countries benefit. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And McKee is working on Roland Angle, finalizing Roland Angle's book where he did name suspects. So keep a lookout for that. I know Craig's working on that. And since I brought up Craig's name, he was on the phone, but hopefully where'd he go? He might be on the phone still. I'll come back to him, but we'll ask him that. We'll go to Bob. Anything for the group?
Just wanted to put in my 2 cents worth about there needs to be some kind of standard that says we have X amount of evidence. We can name a name and say this person is at the very least an accessory after the fact, charge them and say we're going to proceed with a legal case and say there's prosecution happening here. I've been saying for years that we have sufficient evidence. What are we doing?
So Mick has laid this out in his calls on Saturday, is that we have enough evidence that the plan, as I understand that he's saying, and he probably would correct me on this, is once we lay this out to Ron Johnson, Permanent Subcommittee Investigations, they would then need to subpoena people, and they would want to get the small men, the little men, and start getting them because they're going to start talking about other names higher than them. And then you get a bigger person and you keep doing that until you get the bigger fish. And I think that was his plan, but I'm sure he would correct me.
Well, okay, that's very good news. That I'll watch that closely. Thank you.
Thank you. I've completely lost my JB. Anything for the group?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you, Magnus.
Great work, everyone. I'm trying to stay awake until episode 16, so I didn't find the videos I wanted to show you today, but I'm gonna show you a soap opera next time.
Right on. Hang in there. Take some, I don't know, drink a Red Bull or something. Good to see you.
Great to see you.
And we'll see you later. Lou.
We've
Yes.
got 11 minutes to wrap this up, just
Yep.
so that everybody knows.
Okay, a name that's not mentioned is a powerful name in the truther movement that seemingly has cut me off since we socialized with Christopher Bolin a decade ago or so, is Claudio Marti, who has 17,000 people on Facebook that have banners. All three of my Facebook personas are bannered up, as they say, and it's a powerful thing. And I know that he was involved with the Truth Action Project group that Mike Sorzano was with before he became disaffected with them, and there Trina, I forget her last name now, but she's still with the Truth Action Project. So Claudio Marti is missing in action, in my opinion, and is a valuable member of our team. I'd like to know more where he is.
He's out, Lou. He's out. He's out. He's just not available to anybody at all anymore. It's not just you. I'm just saying it to everybody.
Well, I think that's it diminishes our impact as truthers because of his powerful Facebook influence.
Yeah.
Right, but you can't control what he does or decides.
Yeah.
Indeed. I wonder. I'm perplexed.
Yeah, I got to move on because I got to get wrapped up here in 9 minutes.
Sure.
And I still
Thank
want to
you
give
so
everybody
much.
else the chance to speak. Thank
Some
you, Lou.
people just move on.
Craig,
I'm just hoping Claudio's in really good health because it hasn't always been good.
right on. Yes. Craig McKee, are you back? Joshua Schoenfeld, anything for the group?
I recently read the 9/11 Commission's monograph on terrorist financing, and I found it interesting. They say that once Al Qaeda was kicked out of Sudan and relocated to Afghanistan, most of bin Laden's wealth was confiscated in Sudan, or he lost it. So he didn't have money, and they had annual expenses of $30 million per year, which comes out to about $60 million a year in today's money. But they were still able to have all these terrorist camps, spend money on communications, travel, and pay off the Taliban. And it just makes me wonder where they got all that money.
Well, wasn't his father part of the bin Laden construction, like a major construction group?
Yes, he was part of that family, but I read from Lawrence Wright's book, his shares were frozen in Saudi Arabia, so he no longer had access to all that capital. That he had at one point, and that's what I'm wondering. And I don't think the monograph on terrorist financing really does a good enough job. And of course, they say really the financing was of how they got the money was of little practical significance, but to me, it's important how they got the money. And my suspicion is maybe the United States or an allied government provided some of that financing.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let us know if you find any more on that. Thank you.
Will do. Thank you.
David Campbell.
Nothing this week. Thank you both and all.
Thank you, David. Susie?
Oh, just trying to work out this IMBT thing since I have to join Amazon now, which I'm not fond of, to get an account. But I just wanted to say I'm looking forward to meeting everyone. This was a great session, especially hearing from Chief Joya, and just want to let Magnus know via Skadig, and we look forward to seeing you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Susie. Jetty from Scotland.
Yeah, all good here.
Oh, you're still in
I agree with
here, but that's okay.
Oh, that's right. I don't know how to fix that. I agree with Jane. It doesn't really matter what the whole mechanism is. I agree there. If you prove that resistance was removed from below the point of impact, other than from the impacts and the fires, then it doesn't really matter if it was jam donuts or custard creams that brought the thing down. You know that the resistance was removed by a means other than that which we were told. So, I don't really quite understand the whole UAP you've got to agree with me on the mechanism, otherwise you're out. That whole attitude, it doesn't make any sense, does it? And I hope everything goes well with your film later on.
Thank you. Eric Biscamp was here. I don't see him anymore. Sean Nagel, anything for the group?
Hey there, I see.
You said, I heard you say, hey there, I see, and then that was it.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. I see.
No, it keeps going back to mute. That's not me either. I don't know what's going on.
Speak. Tap to speak. Okay. I think I'm speaking now.
Yes.
Okay. I see Larry Hansen still in the chat. I'd like to get a hold of his lyrics if I could do a little rock rendition of his lyric, if he wouldn't mind. I don't know how
Oh my God. Sean.
he could go ahead and
Singer.
Sean, do you write music?
Yeah, I'm in a band actually. It's my excuse for the last couple of weeks of not being in.
We need to talk. We need to talk, Sean. We need to talk.
Oh, well, it's rock music, not everyone's taste, but
No, totally. You're exactly what I'm looking for.
Oh, okay.
We'll
well
talk.
Larry's lyric there. Anywho, yeah, I'll shoot you guys a text here soon for the details on our meetup there. So thanks.
Gotcha.
Nice. Larry, Sean, Sandra, we'll be talking. I skipped so much around. I'm not sure I got everybody. Is there anybody, if anybody feels like speaking now, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to just say goodbye and address quickly Dave, Schlesinger, Sue, and Jane, and also Joshua. First, Sue and Jane. Yeah, you're right. In the sense of we've already fried those fish, and we know that we can say that the buildings were demolished, and we should have moved along farther past where we are. Still talking about 7, I believe. And it's fine. We've gotten that well documented, but it is important, I think, to really do have an explanation for the 10 seconds that the buildings did come down, the 2 big buildings, 1 and 2, because that's when humanity really was brought to its knees. That's, to me, definitely the defining moment of 9/11. So we really, if we have an explanation, and we should get to one, the government's not going to give it to us. We should pursue that just for its interest factor, the irrational factor of just wanting to figure out, well, how the hell did they do it if they're not going to tell us? And that's a watershed moment in human history. So we'll figure it out. I pursued it because of my background, and I started thinking about it, and I realized, you know what? I think I know how they did it. So I published a little bit on that, but there's a lot more to be published, and I believe that I can bring pretty much everybody that's interested in that's opposing each other under the same tent. Once I give them some cover, like how did their concept fit in or not fit in? And that I think I can do. I thought it was going to be years of research, but it's turning out it's going a lot quicker than that. And after this event, I think we can get to a consensus of that. And so, okay, Schlesinger, the pace of 2 towers coming down, the overwhelming explosives in the dust, and then therefore all the physical senses of anybody who was on the ground, what that indicated. Those are your telltale evidence that's indisputable in my view. Joshua, the financial aspect, of course, is very overlooked by most people. I think it's a critical part. It's actually a critical part of my hypothesis as well, the financing. And so, I'm looking into that. And lastly, I'll just say there's a good saying that was attributed to Galileo, I believe. There are a lot of misquotes in history, but I think it was Galileo. I use it. All truths are easy to understand. The point is to discover them. Okay. Good night.
Thank you, Ross. Sorry, I overlooked you. We're just everybody's jumping around and moving. Sandra, anything for the group?
Nope, not really.
All right. All I have is, and just a reminder, in about an hour from now, if you go to any of Richard's Facebook accounts or his X account and see the Crime Scene to Courtroom Crime Scene to Courtroom episode 6. Thank you all for being here. Good conversation. Have a good week, and let's talk next time.
Great week.
Have a good week.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.